Hey, Karradyne, can you pass me the lembas bread?
Would you like that with a side of honey butter?
Yes, please. A lot of honey butter.
We only have a little honey butter.
Why? Isn't this the Hobbiton? Aren't Hobbitons supposed to be full of honey butter and more delicious food?
You don't know anything about the Shire.
We are celebrating the end of 2020. We are in a better year right now.
And therefore there is less honey butter because we need to lessen our waist sizes, New Year's resolutions and all of that.
Ugh, I don't like that. I think I would rather have stayed in 2020 where we didn't have waist sizes and resolutions. We just ate and got fat.
Because we were stuck at home and couldn't do anything else except read and play video games.
Isn't that kind of what we're doing right now?
I mean, yeah, but...
So you're saying that 2021 is going to be the same as 2020?
I hope not.
Okay, I'm going back to Mordor.
This week on A Novel Console, we talk about books and games that made 2020 better.
Hello, welcome to A Novel Console, your weekly podcast where we talk about books, games, food, and stuff that caught our attention during the week. My name is Chris, and with me is my beautiful co-host and wife, Karradyne.
Hello.
And we are finally out of 2020.
Yeah, but I don't know. I feel like there are still some stragglers.
You know what's a straggler from 2020?
Kanye and Jeffree Star?
No. Our Patreon supporters. We have a Patreon and we have winners for giveaways. We were giving away Pikmin 3 and Fable, the book, not the game. And we have winners. Our Pikmin 3 game goes to Sarah, our Patreon supporter, Sarah. And you want to tell us who Fable goes to?
Fable goes to my friend Kelly,
which is also a Patreon supporter. So you could have won a game and a book this month, but you didn't support us on Patreon.
Game or book, not and book.
And
you don't
or.
get to win. No. Or, not and or.
Or book. But you didn't support us on Patreon. So, just go. It's $2 a month. And soon we'll start uploading content there. Probably, maybe not.
It's 2021. Anything can happen.
Exactly. And we have some plans for this year regarding the podcast. Apart from the monthly giveaways, we're also going to start doing some other stuff. Karradyne has a really cool segment that she's going to bring into the opening of the episodes. So instead of just talking about some regular crap or other stuff when we don't have anything really important to talk about, Karradyne is just always going to talk about what?
You made that sound terrible.
I did.
Up and coming books, anticipated releases, the like. We had that suggested from a listener who said they're always wondering what's coming out. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to tell you what's coming out.
And I might do the same for games, but I'm not sure yet because I'm kind of lazy and I don't want to commit to something like that.
Whereas I get an email that tells me all the hot releases coming up.
That's awesome. I
I'm
wish
cheating.
I had that. I really wish I had that. All right. So what are we doing today?
We're talking about all of the books and games that made 2020 better instead of worse, like last episode.
Which was 2 weeks ago.
It was. We were lazy through the holidays. Holiday slump.
Yeah, so basically this is going to be the last episode that counts for the year of 2020. We're finally getting everything rid of 2020.
Wait, what?
I don't...
We're finally getting rid of everything 2020.
Basically.
English.
Yes. So there will be spoilers in this episode. Minor, mostly, because we're not going to spoil all the huge stuff for this things that we're going to talk about because we want you people to experience them too. And the books and games that we're going to talk about aren't necessarily from 2020. They could be older. They could be from not 2020 in the future.
I think
which
most
it probably
of them
won't
are
be.
from 2020.
Yeah, I think most of mine are.
All but one of mine is.
Let me check here. 1, 2. Well, 1 is yes and no. 2 are yes and no, but don't really matter. So, you ready to get started?
I am.
All right. So this is going to be discussion time. So you read a lot of books last year.
I read 124 books.
Jesus fucking Christ. How?
Audiobooks really helped me a lot. I get through a lot of audiobooks in a month. Thanks to probably listening to them at times when I shouldn't, but it's fine. It's fine. Nobody cares.
So what is your... We're going to do 5 to 1.
Yes.
What is your number 5 book?
Fireborne by Rosaria Munda. Don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly.
Yeah, Rosaria Munda.
Yeah, what he said.
You pronounce it right.
It is book 1 in the Cerulean cycle, and it was published by G.P. Putnam's Sons Books for Young Readers on October 15th, 2019. My only non-2020 book, but it was so close that, it might as well have been 2020. Book 2, Flamefall, is said to publish on March 23rd of this year, 2021. This was definitely the best YA novel I read all year. The best. It was awesome. It is an epic tale of 2 kids who've grown up together in the middle of a revolution and are now key players in the new regime of dragon riders. The timeline goes back and forth between present day training with their dragons and the new regime, and goes back to their childhood. Little does the new regime know that one of them is the child of one of the old ruling families that was taken down in the revolution. But I'll let you read it to see how that unfolds.
So what is it about this book that you liked so much?
It was really, really solid storytelling, very, very good world building. It kind of read like a textbook in some ways, but with this really cool fictional element. I don't know. It was wonderful.
Was there anything to make fun of in the book, or was it...
No, it was very serious.
Really?
Yes, but wonderful.
I guess that's fun.
Dragons. Dragons have to be taken seriously.
Did it describe what the dragons look like?
Not so much.
So did they have 4 legs at least, or were they 2 legs and wings? Because
like wyverns or whatever they're called?
Yeah, because if they just have 2 legs and wings, and they're wyverns.
Oh gosh, I don't remember. I know some of them were called bulls. I can remember that very distinctly.
Balls?
Bulls. Bull.
How do you spell that?
Like a cow bull. B-U-L-L.
Oh,
bull.
Bull. Okay, I thought you were saying bull.
No! Bull! Red flag. I don't know what that's called. Anyway, ignore me.
Anything else you want to say about the book before we continue?
There were elements of it that reminded me of other things. Like, for instance, the dragon riders have mental links with their dragons, which you see in what?
It's like in that episode of Rick and Morty.
Oh my god.
Where Rick mind melts with the dragon.
I was thinking more Aragon. And I think there are other stories where you are mentally linked to your dragons.
Before that episode of Rick and Morty, that's the first time I had ever seen anything like that happen.
Really?
Yeah, I had.
Oh, well then, okay, it was similar to Aragon, but way better than Aragon.
All right, so anything else you want to say?
I'm really excited for book 2. Can't wait. Go read it.
Nice. All right, so my number 5 is going to be NSR, or No Straight Roads. It was developed by Metronomic, released August 25th, 2020. It's an action-adventure game where you fight against the EDM empire with the power of rock.
What?
Yes.
What is that?
It is awesome. You play as 2 characters named Mayday and Sook, and they are part of a band called Bunkbed Junction. And the beginning of the game is you going to this American Idol type audition, where the powers that be of EDM are looking for the next big musical phenomenon. And when they see that what you play is rock, they immediately cast you out. They don't give you the position in the group or whatever. And it's because it's a little bit like Monsters, Inc. So you remember in Monsters, Inc. that screams were what powered everything? But it turned out that laughter made everything even more powered up.
Yes.
So instead of EDM being the most superpower, it's rock. It powers up everything harder.
What?
Yeah, it's so freaking cool. And that the game is very musically inclined. It's super colorful. It's super bright. It's very funny and well written. The one thing that I did notice is that the characters sound a little bit weird. I don't know if it's because of the game, but at points they sound like they're from South Africa. Which some of the best music in the world is from South Africa, but it's a little bit odd when you see them talking normal American English and all of a sudden they get an accent.
So it's like Sinjin in a video game?
Somewhat, but...
Sinjin, 90 Day Fiancé.
Oh, Lord.
Trash.
Mm-hmm. But, yeah, one of the coolest things that I like, and it's one of the things that stands out the most to me, is that when you're around the world or anywhere walking around, there's always music playing of some type. And you have this specific button that you use to throw, like, launch projectiles, like bullets or whatever. And if you press that button when you don't have anything, they just start doing a solo that matches the song that's playing right now in the background. So Sook plays drum and Mayday plays guitar. So if you're controlling Mayday and you hit that button, she starts doing a guitar solo that's like insane. That goes along perfectly with the song that's playing in the background. Same with Sook. He starts doing an amazing drum solo that just matches the music perfectly. This game is freaking amazing. It's like $30. I've played like 6 or 7 hours of it. I want to finish it. I haven't because I've had so much other stuff that I've been playing at the same time that I've kept having to put it down. But holy shit, the little bit that I've played is insane. I actually want you to see it. I think you would like the way that it looks and the way that it sounds and everything. Oh, and there's this one fight against an AI. It's kind of like a hologram, and she is like the guardian of drum and bass. So the whole song is drum and bass fighting against rock. It is awesome. It is such a good fucking song. It's such a crazy good game.
That sounds really interesting,
actually. It is. It's really fucking cool. But yeah, that's my...
Number 5.
No Straight Roads. So yeah, you can get it on Switch, I think PC, and I think maybe PlayStation 4 and Xbox. I'm not entirely sure, but it is worth the $30. It's so fucking good. All right, your turn. Your book 4.
Book 4 is a book that I talked about on a previous episode. Anxious People by Frederick Backman.
This is actually the first book we gave away for our first
Patreon giveaway.
Yeah. And surprisingly enough, Vilmari, who won it, actually got the book like a week ago because of the post office being so backed up.
It's such a mess right now. It's quite sad, actually. So yeah, Anxious People, it was published by Atria Books on September 8th, 2020. There isn't much that I can say that hasn't already been said, except that even though I read probably more than 20 books after reading this one, it still stood up against all but one of them. It is truly amazing. It is funny, it is sad, it is critical, it is wonderful. Remember, bank robbery that didn't technically happen, which leads to a hostage situation, which technically isn't very hostile. And it's just all quite comical but sad. Content warning of suicide.
I think this was our episode 3. It was...
Was it really episode 3?
Yeah, let me check. Yeah, it was our episode 3. It was episode 3, Anxious People and Half Genie Eat Burgers. That is our first garbage, too. And I played Half Genie Hero, and it was pretty good.
Excuse you, it was our first garbage, not
right.
garbage. It was straight up garbage. So if you want to go listen to that episode, it was very good.
That's actually...
Not to toot my own horn.
That was actually one of our favorite episodes. Mm-hmm. Well, mine.
One of our least favorite meals, but...
Yeah. It was a very funny episode. So go listen to that episode 3. It's really good.
Highly recommend that book. And I've only read a couple of his other books, but I recommend them too. They were great.
What else do you want to say about this book? Like anything that stood out to you, anything that you enjoyed, or something that gripped you immediately, apart from the bunny taking a shit with his head on?
The characters are just overall really relatable. Several of them are relatable in different ways, and that was
I
nice.
mean, I can relate with a bank robber. Sometimes
I can relate with the bunny.
Things get out of hand and
you need extra cash.
And banks get robbed for some reason.
Oh, Lord.
Not by me.
What was your number 4?
My number 4 was Hades.
Like blue flamey hair Hades?
No. It was developed by and published by Supergiant Games on September 17th, 2020. It's a roguelike action RPG where you control the son of Hades, Zagreus, as he attempts to leave the underworld and reach Mount Olympus.
Zagreus? That's a little too similar to Zeus.
They call him Zag.
He literally has Zeus in his name.
Oh, he kind of does.
He literally has Zeus in his name.
If you just spoiled something for me, I'm going to be very mad because I haven't finished this game.
How is that a spoiler? Except that Hades obviously doesn't hate Zeus that much.
Maybe. But this is a roguelike action RPG. I thought this was going to be a very boring and bad game. I thought it was going to be slow. I thought I wasn't going to enjoy it. Because I've listened to a lot of podcasts and seen a lot of videos where people hype up this game, and I thought they were just blowing up smoke up its ass.
It's so nice when it lives up to the hype.
It didn't live up to the hype. Oh. It exceeded the hype.
Hey, that's even better.
So if this is number 4, what's up with the rest of the list?
Some pretty fucking good books.
So let me just get into this game because I feel like I got to do this game justice, like no people have done it before. People have just said, "Oh, it's a good game. Oh, you die, you lose your progress, but then you go back in and it's good and you get further." Yeah, that's exactly what you do. So you go to the underworld, you try to escape from the underworld, from Tartarus, climb up all the layers of the underworld from Greek mythology with, Greek mythology characters aiding you along the way. Your dad is Hades. Of course, he's pissed that you're trying to leave hell. You have Nyx, the goddess of night, helping you. You have Achilles helping you too. You have all these mythological characters that are helping you, including all the gods of Olympus. You have Zeus, you have Hermes, you have what's her name, the horny one, Artemis is the horny one.
I'm not that knowledgeable when it comes to Greek mythology. I'm sorry.
And they give you these boons, which are these special abilities that you can add on to your regular attacks, which on top of that, you start out with a sword, but then you get a lance, you get a shield that you can attack with, you get a bow and arrow, you get gauntlets. I mean, the amount of stuff that you get in this game and the amount of stuff to do in this game is bananas. And it's so cool when you get these boons because let's say you have your regular dash. You get a boon for your dash. When you do it, it reflects everything that comes at you and goes back to your enemies and hits them, right? But then there's another one that the god Dionysus gives you that it's basically a dash and it leaves a little cloud of purple. And that little cloud of purple is drunk. So whoever walks into it gets drunk for like 5 seconds and it takes their health away.
I see the wine.
Yeah, you see the girls. We're looking at the characters right now. And the one that was horny is Aphrodite. She is super horny. Wants to have sex with everything.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, and the weird thing is that usually not the weird thing, the cool thing that I find is that usually when you see Greek mythology, all the gods are against each other. They're, they hate each other, but they're trying to help you so much to get out of hell and get to Mount Olympus that I am not sure if they're being legit or if they are just fucking with you so you can get out of hell. And, then you'll become their punch boy. But so far, the story is amazing. The gameplay is super fun. I am enjoying every single playthrough that I've done of a run. And today I was doing a run before I went to get you from work. And I put in like an hour and a half into this run. And I was doing really good. And then I got to the point where I was like, oh shit, I gotta leave. But I'm not gonna leave this on. So I had them kill me. And it was one of my best runs yet.
That's so sad.
But believe me, I'm going to keep doing these runs, and I'm going to beat this game, and once I beat this fucking game, I'm going to do an episode on it for a novel console, because Jesus Christ, it is so fucking good. Everything that people say about this game, just take it and throw it out the window and play the fucking game because it's so good. And actually, it's only digital, and I know that it's not super expensive. So maybe I can get a copy to give away for our social medias. So see, there's Achilles.
Ooh, Skelly.
TCS. There's Medusa.
Dusa?
Yeah.
Seriously?
Orpheus.
Ooh, Persephone's really pretty.
Oh, and look at Cerberus. Mm-hmm. Cerberus is super cute. He destroys the bar.
Boldy.
Yeah, it says Boulder.
That's cute.
So,
Sisyphus.
So it's a really cool fucking game. And if this is number 4, like I said earlier,
it just gets better.
It does.
It's crazy.
It does. You want to tell us about number 3?
Yes. So this one is maybe kind of cheesy, but I don't care. It is Take a Hint, Dani Brown by Talia Hibbert, book 2 in the Brown Sisters series, published by Avon on June 23rd, 2020. Book 3, Act Your Age, Eve Brown, is set to publish on March 9th, 2021. I read both Chloe and Dani this year, and though I love both of them deeply, Dani really hit the mark for me.
Why?
Because she's curvy and she has bright pink hair and she falls in love with this beautiful, beautiful boy who loves to read romance novels.
You just want a man that reads romance novels, don't you?
It was pretty cute, especially since he's a tall, dark, and handsome man who's also very hairy like you. His little illustration looks a lot like you, actually. So I think of you listening to romance novels while you're at your security job.
Little did you know, I hate romance novels.
Romance novels are beautiful.
How are they beautiful? Educate me.
They're
Come on, tell me.
very steamy and wet and lovely.
Wet?
Wet.
No. That sounds nasty.
I've been reading some real spicy ones here lately.
Okay, you need to get into some fantasy or some shit because we can't take wet, moist.
Well, they like Frankenstein dick, so you would think that they would like wet and moist. Maybe not.
That's one of the grossest things I've ever heard in my entire fucking life. So, apart from relating to Dani, is there anything in particular about this book that jumps out at you that you really love and like and enjoy?
I just really appreciate that Hibbert takes like very, very real issues and brings them into her books, but also keeps them really cute and fluffy. Like Dani has like, I don't want to say confidence issues, but maybe like performance anxiety, not in sex. But then Zaph, because I'm talking about sex and being wet, and people might think that that's what I'm saying. And poor Zaph has like PTSD and anxiety because his brother and father were killed in a car accident. And yeah, characters are just very, very real. She's very curvy. Chloe is even curvier. I really loved Chloe too. Chloe made my top 10, but not my top 5.
So which one was the first one? Was Dani the first?
Chloe was first. Dani was second.
Didn't I buy you Dani this year?
You bought me both. You bought me Chloe last year for my birthday, and you bought me Dani this year when it published.
Right.
You bought it for me on Pub Day, June 23rd, 2020.
Pub Day. We didn't go to the
pub day. And it was
ripped.
Day. But it was the only copy they had.
Right, it was ripped. I remember.
I still have the ripped copy. They gave us a discount.
You were trying to hide it in your picture so the rip wouldn't show.
It still showed.
That sucks.
Yeah, it does. It's fine.
All right, so anything else before we continue?
I'm really excited about book 3. You should read both of the ones that are already out, and, you know, you don't have too long to wait for book 3.
Nice. All right, so my third game, guess what it is?
Pikmin! Oh.
Doesn't matter. So
wait, your number 3 is Pikmin 3?
Well.
Ha ha ha.
Well, actually I didn't notice that. So my next 3 games, Pikmin and the next 2 after it, are all number 1 spot.
Wait, what?
That's
not how this works.
No,
you can't call the other 2, 4, and 5 when all of these are number 1.
So just say
no.
3 and 2.
No.
I really cannot pick between these three games. These
that's
three
not fair.
games are fucking amazing.
I had to pick.
Well,
It was easy for me to pick. Never mind.
yeah, it was easy for you, not for me. And I've sunk more tens, maybe hundreds of hours into each one of these games. And I cannot pick because I enjoyed my time with them differently, but just at the same amount of happiness between them.
Equally. That's the word you're looking for.
Listen, I'm exhausted. I'm having fun talking about these games that I love so much that people need to play. And this game is Pikmin 3, and Sarah won it, and she better enjoy it. Otherwise, we're going to have a problem. Everybody needs to love and enjoy Pikmin.
You hear that, Sarah? We're gonna have a problem.
Everybody needs to love and enjoy Pikmin 3.
I mean, I even loved, like, watching the little game preview or whatever the heck it was. It was adorable.
But yeah, Pikmin 3 Deluxe Edition was developed and published by Nintendo originally for the Wii U on August 4th, 2013. So you remember how I said games that came out and didn't at the same time this year?
Yes.
So this is the first one. It, like I said, 2013. But then it got a Switch port. Well, a definitive edition because it has a whole lot of shit added to it.
I was about to say, is it like a reboot, sort of?
No.
No?
It's basically just take the original game, add a lot of DLC to all the DLC to it.
Downloadable content. I know what that means.
Yes. Very good.
I remember.
And add a few extra things and then just re-release it on a different console with updated graphics and whatnot. So that's basically what they did for the Switch port. It came out October 30th, 2020. And again, like I've said on our episode, which was episode 10. Episode 10, Lab Partners and Pikmin enjoy birria tacos. Birria tacos.
Lab.
Lab.
Not lap.
Lab Partners.
That's strip club.
That sounds like a dog. So it's a real-time strategy puzzle game in which you control 3 co-pites named Alf, Brittany, and Charlie, which I didn't write down the names for the episode, so I didn't mention them, because I'm an idiot. And you accompany them on their search for fruit seeds so that they can save their starving planet. Holy shit, this game is adorable. I love this game so much. It is so fucking cute and colorful and violent and dark at the same time. You have 100 Pikmin with you that you can control, and they can get all eaten if you don't pay attention to what the fuck you're doing. That is dark. And every time one dies, you see the little ghost float away. It's such a fucking good game. And if you guys want to hear more about Pikmin 3 Deluxe Edition, just go listen to episode 10. It's a very funny episode. I think this is the one with the girl shaking her hand. Cosmic Retribution. You damn kids.
I don't know what you're talking about.
The book that you talked about on that episode.
Oh, yeah. Karmic Retribution. Cosmic Retribution.
You darn kids.
Yeah, that one.
Stop graffitiing. But yeah, it's a good game. Get it, play it, listen to the episode. It's worth every single second and penny. I'm rambling. What's your book two?
I have chills. They're multiplying. Okay, anyway. My second favorite book of the year was The Invisible Life of Addie Larue by V.E. Schwab, published by Tor Books on October 6th, 2020. I still get chills when I think about this book. So you're in France. It's 1714. You're being forced into a marriage you don't want. You therefore make a deal with the God who answers in the dark, aka Satan. And you get the best fucking book ever. Or the second fucking best book ever. Because there's still one that's better. But this is really, really, really close. Really close call. It's amazing. It's dark. But it's also, I don't know, hopeful. If you've ever seen the movie, oh shit, what is that movie called? Age of Adeline. The Age of Adeline with Blake Lively. Okay, it's very, very similar to that premise in that our main character is like cursed to live forever. Essentially, like there's nothing she can do to die. or to age. But the difference here is no one remembers her. No one. Her family doesn't remember her. Her best friend does not remember her. No one in her village remembers her. So the chapters go back and forth between 1714 and 2000. I think it's 2019. The 2000s anyway. Present day, more or less. And you just see her, like, going through her life in New York City. I mean, she literally can't even keep a job because the minute you turn away from her, you forget her. Yes.
What the fuck?
So she has to steal everything that she has. She goes into a bookstore one day. She goes to steal a book. And the bookstore owner notices her walking out and is like, hey, you didn't pay for that. She thinks it's just a fluke. He just needs to, like, you know, turn away or whatever. He remembers her. The first person in more than 300 years remembers her. And sprinkled throughout these 300 years, Satan comes to visit her, and they basically, like, just kind of have this really dangerously flirtatious relationship.
I thought you were going to say that they were drinking buddies or something.
No. She never, like, outright calls him Satan, but she does, like, start to toy with, like, the fact that she does know who he is and, like, coming up with names for him, and she finally, like, lands on Lucifer and then decides to call him Luke for short. So, like, we've thought the whole time that it is Satan, but then we finally get our concrete proof that it is, in fact, Satan. Okay, but I'm not going to tell you anything else because it's so fucking good. It is so creative. I think V.E. Schwab said that she worked on this book for, like, 10 years. It is so beautifully written, this author, with her words. She's like Stephen King, in that she's a little too descriptive, but, like, in a romantic, flowy way, if that makes sense. I like her too descriptiveness.
So
I just
listen,
said her. I don't know if she identifies as her. Yeah, I'm using all the wrong pronouns, possibly. I am very sorry if I'm using the wrong pronouns.
There you go.
I don't know. I'm a terrible person. It's so good!
You don't mean any harm by it.
I don't. I could be totally wrong in thinking I'm wrong. I have no idea.
Yeah. So, my next one is one that I was excited for the entire fucking year.
And he's still fucking playing.
I still haven't
I
finished it.
hear this game in my dreams.
How do you hear the game in your dreams?
Wee woo, wee woo, wee woo. That fucking siren. When you just leave that game paused in there, or whatever it is that you do, and the background noises in the cityscape are still playing. Wee woo, wee woo, wee woo. I hear it all the time. You're not even here, and I think you're here because I think I hear it.
It's just so faint and in the distance.
Wee woo, wee woo, wee woo.
So, that siren
Uh-huh.
is from a Japanese cop car.
There's a lot of popo in that city.
It's a very crime-riddled city. You know why?
Why?
Because it's Yakuza Like a Dragon. Developed by Ryuga Gotoku Studios and published by Sega on November 10th, 2020.
2 days before my birthday.
Yeah, it's an RPG in which you control Ichiban Kasuga and his band of misfits friends on a quest to find out why Ichiban was betrayed and left for dead by his former boss. It is a Japanese crime drama, and I love it so much. It's so good. I've been putting so much time into this fucking game, and you know how obsessed I am with Yakuza, right?
Yes.
To the point where I played 6 nonstop when I got it. And every time something amazing happened, I would text you about it, or I will call you about it. Well, this one time,
Send me pictures.
I was so drunk, and I just started telling you everything that happened from how drunk I was playing the game. I love Yakuza. There's so much you can do. So this one's different from the other ones because the other ones were beat-em-ups, where you would run into enemies in the streets and you would just punch the shit out of them. This one is a turn-based RPG, which means your turn, their turn, your turn, their turn. I was really skeptical about it being a turn-based RPG because, you know, the first 7 Yakuza games, the spin-offs and everything else was an action RPG where you control a character and you do your own moves and fight everybody. You don't have to, take turns. I thought it was going to be slow, or I didn't think it was going to work for the series, but surprisingly, it does. It has all the flair. It has all the over-the-top shenanigans that you get with a normal Yakuza game, like punching out a tiger. You get it in this game. And not to mention all the crazy-ass shenanigans, you do get crazy-ass funny mini-games too. There's one where you're at a movie theater, which you heard the other day, and you're like, what the fuck is that? You're at a movie theater and you're watching old classic movies from the 80s. And the movies apparently are super boring. And the main character is trying not to fall asleep. And you see these men pop out with goat heads. And they go like, meh, and try to juju their fingers at you so that you fall asleep. And every once in a while, a chicken man will come out with cymbals to wake you up.
Shouldn't they be sheep heads, not goat heads?
It's sheep heads. They have horns. That's why I said goats.
There's difference.
They both go like, nah.
Oh, dear.
So, yeah. So, it's very funny at some points, but it's super serious, crime heavy. And the one thing about this game that has shocked me is how violent and dark it is compared to the previous ones. There's one scene where a gang straight up walks up to 2 Yakuza and gun them down. And the bullet holes look so real. I was shooketh.
No, thank you.
I was shooketh with it.
No, thank you.
But apart from that, it is such a good game, and the story is so well written. I think Ichiban doesn't reach the levels of legendary that Kiryu had, but he is a very likable protagonist. He is an idiot that's trying to do the best he can and do right by everybody, and he has his honor, and he's loyal to his friends, and he is just an overall good guy to the point that everything that happens to him, and every time that something bad happens, you cannot just help but feel sorry for him. There was a very important point in the game where I got to a couple of days ago where I legit didn't want to keep playing because what happened to him was horrible and it would have destroyed him. And it kind of did. And it was hard to watch. Like, to the point where I don't think ever in the Yakuza series I've gone to the point where I'm like, oh no, I don't want to play this anymore. I want this to just end right here. I just want a happy ending for Kasuga. But no.
You can't always have happy endings.
No, and I can't wait to continue playing because it is such a fucking amazing game. And it is literally tied with Pikmin 3 and my number 1 game. And I did mention Pikmin.
But they're all your number 1 game.
Yes. But I think I'm going to separate these by time I spent on them.
Mm-hmm.
Pikmin 3, I put in about 60-ish hours. Yakuza, I put in around 80-ish hours.
That is 2 full weeks of work.
And I'm going to continue because I'm still not done with the story or the collectibles or everything. And I am having such a great fucking time with this game. This game is so good. Everybody needs to play it. And I can't wait to see where the series goes next. And every time a Yakuza game comes out, I freak the fuck out. And I need to play it. And I buy it. And I play it. And it's so good. And it's the only thing that I talk about video game related to Karradyne. And she hates it. And I don't give a shit because I love it.
It's fine. I'm glad it makes you happy.
So, are you ready for your number 1?
I am.
What's your number 1?
The House in the Cerulean Sea by T.J. Klune, published by Tor Books on March 17th, 2020. And I realized while writing this script that Tor Books published my top 2 books of the year and my worst book of the year. Who'da thunk?
Which one was the worst one?
To Sleep in a Sea of Stars.
Right, the one with the stupid name.
Yeah, I didn't even finish it, but it was still the worst book of the year. It was the biggest disappointment. But Tor, you still publish the best books ever, so don't take offense, please, and thank you. So everyone has said that this book is like 1984 meets The Umbrella Academy. I don't know shit about The Umbrella Academy, but I do know enough about 1984 to believe that this description is legitimate.
I read 1984.
I know. You are a stronger man than I.
So I read all of it.
He liked it.
I loved it. I think the ending was one of the best endings I've ever read or experienced in a book ever. It was...
He's insane.
The one part where I kind of checked out and I had to skip the entire part was when the main character was reading the book written by the leader of the rebellion. That part was so fucking boring because he just kept talking about politics and social status and classes. I'm like, okay, I've read most of the book. It's been talking about that nonstop. Why do I need to read a book within a book? So I just skipped it. And then shit hit the fan. And oh my God, 1984 is such a good book. I understand why it's a classic. I wish they would have made me read this in Puerto Rico because I probably would have read then. But no, we had to read Maria y El Lazarillo de Tormes and all that stupid shit.
To Kill a Mockingbird?
No, they didn't make us read that.
That's lame. Anywho. So, the house in the Cerulean Sea is a house of misfit magical children who are being cared for by someone who's like trained to deal with magical odd children. So the children in this house, there's one who is like a blobby monster. He kind of makes me think of that blob from Hotel Transylvania that just kind of like consumes everything. His name is Chauncey, and he wants nothing more than to be a bellhop. That is his life's dream.
You told me about this.
Yes,
When did we
did.
Have we talked about this in the podcast?
No, we haven't. Well, I didn't talk about it like as the book for an episode. I don't remember if we talked about it like just offhanded.
Do any of these titles seem familiar?
No, I don't remember ever talking
I know it's
about
not
it
sandworms.
I don't remember ever talking about it on the podcast.
No, it looks like you didn't.
One of the kids is a little gnome named Talia. One of them is a little dragon. I think his name is Theo, and he has like his little hoard with like buttons and things like that.
Dio, like...
Theo.
Theo. I thought it was Dio, like the singer. Like
No.
Holy Diver. Rainbow in the Dark.
But my favorite kid is Lucy, who is supposedly the Antichrist. And bless poor Lucy's little heart. Lucy just, like, I don't know, I feel like Lucy's just trying to live up to this bad rap that he has. And try to be bad and evil and menacing. And it's quite comical, really.
I'm pretty sure it's comical because one of the characters is a were Pomeranian.
Yes, I had him Google a list of the children because Lucy's name was escaping me. Poor Lucy.
Were Pomeranian.
Were Pomeranian. Y'all, this book is so good. But the main premise is that Linus Baker, he's an employee for the like Department of Extremely Magical Shit or something like that. And he is sent by the government to investigate because they think they need to like shut this place down, and the man who's running it is not doing a good job, and they're all menacing and doing bad things to society. And
what's a were Pomeranian gonna do? Bite your ankles?
Yeah.
Shed everywhere?
Yeah.
Get a cold if they get wet?
What's a blob who wants to be a bellhop gonna do? Take your luggage and throw it in the yard?
Dissolve the luggage when it touches it?
Like consume it through his flesh.
Through his flesh.
Y'all, it's so good. I can't say enough. Oh, man. It's wonderful. You got some LGBTQ vibes. It's so good. The best book. I mean, it's hope. It's happiness. It is... I'm going to cry. It is the exact message that 2020 needed. So good.
For you people at home that can't see us, which is all of you, hopefully, she's actually tearing up.
I listened to the audiobook, and before I even finished it, I was like, honey, I don't care if we're broke. I'm going on Amazon and I'm buying this book right now. I have to have a physical copy right now. It is amazing.
You're amazing.
Thanks.
I love you.
I love you too.
Good. All right.
I might love this book as much as I love you.
That's okay. I probably love Yakuza more than I love you, so. But surprisingly, Yakuza's not my final game.
Which really surprises me a lot.
So before we finish, because this is your final book, anything else you want to say? Anything you want to add? Specific moment about it that got you? Anything?
The whole damn book got me.
I mean, it sounds like it has
The
a
whole
wonderful
damn thing.
cast of characters, except for that were-Pomeranian. That was weird.
You see Linus, who like supposedly is just this little government machine who doesn't have a heart or a brain, and you see him bond with each of these children, and it's just beautiful. Beautiful. And these poor children who feel like they're not loved and not wanted. Oh, so good.
It's nice when you have something that makes you feel stuff
Mm-hmm.
that you don't normally feel.
Mm-hmm.
Like my empathy and love for Kasuga Ichiban.
I'm sorry.
I feel so bad when that happened. It's like, no.
But are you going to cry about it?
No, probably not. But I do have my number one finally ready to shoot it out. And this is going to be weird.
But it's your number 111.
Yes.
Because you have 3 number ones. 111.
Yeah, because this is the one that I put the most time into.
Uh-huh.
I put in 125 hours.
What?
Mm-hmm. And the original version of this game, when it came out in September 15, 2016,
That's more than 3 weeks of work.
I put in 120 hours into that version. So I've put in a collective 245 hours into this game.
I can't.
And this game will let us know that they're out there taking stuff
Oh,
for the
God.
taking.
Don't. No, stop now. A fucking song wound up on my 2020 wrap-up because of your stupid ass. I hate you.
I'm not a robot. I'm not an AI challenging you.
I can't.
It is Persona 5 Royal Edition, developed by P Studios and published by Atlas North America. Like I said, the original version was released September 15, 2016. And then we got it back this year, March 31st, 2020. As soon as I saw that Cybertron video game, St. Sanford had a copy before launch date, I hauled my ass up there and got it. And again, it's an RPG in which you control an unnamed protagonist and his band of misfit friends on a quest to reform adults' hearts. And I just figured something out.
What?
So you know how you said house in the Cerulean Sea would be very important to 2020?
Mm-hmm.
This game would be important to 2020.
I was just thinking the same thing when you said, like, reforming adult hearts. Like, they reform Linus's heart.
Yeah, but the thing that the Phantom Thieves of Heart, which is what the group is called, is that they go into people's metaverses, which is their psyche.
I saw some really disturbing shit when that was going on.
Yeah, so basically another parallel universe is created when a person's desires are warped. So let's say like the first boss is a PE teacher that thinks that the school is his castle and the students are for him to do whatever he wants. He can beat the males and harass and sexually assault the girls.
Wasn't he like a giant dick?
No, that
was somebody else.
that's a persona.
Oh.
It's actually a persona.
Oh.
That's Mara. It's a giant persona. It's
Oops.
a giant dick in a carriage.
I got confused.
But yeah, so what the Phantom Thieves do is they steal their desires, which manifests into the shape of a treasure, and that fixes them. So throughout 2020, we've had these bunch of fucking assholes in power that we would have benefited if the Phantom Thieves of Hearts would have stolen their hearts and
There
fixed
you go.
everything. But yeah, no, apart from that, this game is super fucking stylish. It is so good. The characters are deep. They have so many layers of personality. And the way that you connect with them and interact with them not only helps you understand them more or learn who they are or their motivations or their past or whatever, it also helps you in the game. it also helps you create new, stronger personas. It helps you during fights because they feel more comfortable with you, so they do other stuff to help you during fights, like heal you or take an attack for you or stuff like that. I mean, it's a really good, well-developed, deep game. It is a perfect 10 for me. My favorite part from the whole game has got to be the music. As much as you hate it, you've liked it because I put it on and I've heard you singing it.
It still annoys the shit out of me. It's so stupid and terribly pitched. I'm sorry.
It's not terribly pitched. It's amazing. It's so good. It's so fucking good. And one of the things that I love about this game is that I was playing it in our living room TV before I got the one for the game room. So when I put it in the game room, I started playing it on that. I was like, holy shit, they look so good. Like, all the colors are so bright. It's amazing. This is the game I'm going to give away for this month, because it is the one that I enjoyed the most. Again, I put 120 hours into the original and 125 hours into this one.
That's a lot of hours.
And I did not skip anything when I replayed it again. Can you believe that shit? Not skipped one thing.
I mean, like, I can and can't at the same time, because I reread books and don't skip anything, but it doesn't take me 120 hours to read it. Maybe it does. I'm slow.
Unless you're reading Lord of the Rings, right?
Oh, God, it's so hard. But worth it.
This game is worth it. It's not hard, but it was worth it. And all this stuff that they added to it is so worth the second playthrough. They added an extra character, an extra dungeon, extra social links, extra personas, extra challenges for fights. I mean, shit, they added so much that it's worth the $60 extra that I paid for it. I don't have enough words to describe how amazing this game is. I really wish we would have had this podcast going when I finished this game, because I would have loved to make a full episode about it. But I'm not going to put 125 hours into the game again, because Jesus Christ, that's a long time. And you know what's the one thing that I liked the most about this game while I was playing it?
What?
I started playing it. I got to 10 hours. I was like, I really haven't done anything. It's just 10 hours. Got to 20 hours.
Just 10 hours.
I feel like I still haven't done anything. I got to 50 hours. I still feel like I haven't done anything. I beat the game, platinumed it, got everything out of the game, 125 hours. So I'm like, I still feel like I didn't play this game enough.
That doesn't sound like a good game to me.
That to me sounds like an amazing game, because that means that I enjoyed it so much and I did so much that I still felt like I could do so much that the game could probably offer, because I didn't do a couple of the challenges. If I would have done it, I probably would have done 140 hours. It's such a great game. Such a good fucking game. Persona 5 Royal Edition.
And the house in the Cerulean Sea.
So, let's go ahead and get into some housekeeping, and that's it for this episode. Next week, we go to the arcade. I can't wait. So, let's start off by saying go sign up to our Patreon, because we're giving away
The House in the Cerulean Sea. What did you type? You just left out the.
And Persona 5 Royal Deluxe Edition. Royal Deluxe Edition. I left this from last month's game. I didn't take it out. What the hell?
Oops.
Persona 5 Royal Edition. So you can qualify for those by going onto our Patreon, patreon.com/anovelconsole, signing up for $2, and you'll be in the running. You'll find the link in the show notes, so just make sure you look below the video if you're on YouTube, or in the description of the episode on wherever you're listening to.
Or in the card link in our bio on Instagram.
Yeah, we got to finish that thing because it's half done.
It's mostly done.
Also, remember to follow us on Instagram and Twitter at anovelconsole, and on Facebook at facebook.com/anovelconsole. Don't forget that you can also tell your friends that they can find the podcast on most major podcast streaming platforms, and they can also listen on YouTube by searching for A Novel Console. And don't forget to tell them to subscribe, like, and comment, which we would like it if they did. You should also leave a review on Apple Podcasts and Google Podcasts so that more people can find us. And I had mentioned it last week, but our episode from last week only got like 3 listens total.
Well, it was only like 5 minutes long.
Exactly. We got 4 5-star reviews already on Apple Podcasts.
Thank you, friends.
That shit just made me go like, oh my god, people actually listen to our episodes and liked it. Or maybe they just are our friends doing
boosting
this.
Our egos.
Yeah. Either way, it doesn't matter. We really appreciate it. We enjoy it. And thank you so much for it. Remember, you can contact us at anovelconsole@gmail.com. We will read your email on the show, or we won't, whatever you want. We can talk about whatever you feel like. You have different games and books from us that you enjoyed throughout the year. Send them our way. We'll talk about them. We'll break them down. If we've read them, we'll say, what we thought about them. And that would be fun, don't you think?
Oh, you make me laugh.
I try. And our art was done by Metamorphic on Instagram. You'll find her link in the description. Anything you want to say before we end?
I'm so glad 2020 is over, but if it continues to be a shit show after only 6 days of 2021, I'm done. I sign off. I'm leaving. Mic drop. Goodbye.
Hey, didn't you know that it's actually not January 6th, 2021? It's actually December
Oh, shut up.
37th,
I'm leaving.
2020. You don't want to say goodbye to the people before you leave?
Goodbye, people. Stay safe.
All right, guys. We'll see you next week when we go to the arcades.